thing's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. Gonna blow up. Get out. Get out. Get out. Undid my seatbelt. I fell. I get to the edge of the window to stand up to get out, and I look down, and my foot was wrapped around. My foot was dangling on the end of my shin. So I just threw myself out of the car, and I crawled out as quick as I could. Just scurried out as quick as I could. And it was almost like a film reel was, the old school film reel would turn. And when it runs out, it goes. And I felt like my life was coming to an end. I go, this is the end of my life. This is where the film reel rolls out. Losing leg was one thing, but then losing brother was kind of, it was another part of my spirit that it was amputated. Him not sharing what was going on with his life killed him. And it taught me that I've got to share. I've got to be honest with what's going on or I'm going to die. I was abusing substances on the job. House is gone. Wife is gone. Kids are gone. Job is gone. Damn. I'm alone.
Rock bottom?
Yeah. Yeah. That was the turning point. When your 12-year-old looks up at you and said, Dad, you're a loser. You're such a loser, Dad. I've got to protect my little siblings from you because you can't be a father.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bringing guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if that is for you, like, subscribe, all those wonderful things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but it's time to jump on board today. Thank you. But today's guest, he's got a story marked by deep loss, relentless resilience, and rebuilding. We're going to touch on themes of trauma, addiction, grief, and the long road back to life. Let's give it up for my new friend, John Mabry.
Hey.
Woo. Good
Honored
stuff.
to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So pumped to have you. Like, honestly, I'm really stoked that you just went in to the intro like that with me.
Why not, man? Let's do this, dude.
Yeah, man.
Life is, we get so boxed in the world today, or at least I feel boxed in a lot. And so it's just like, let's do something different. Let's do something new. This is being alive right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Being nervous, a little anxious. I don't know what's going to come out today. I don't know what I'm going to
Are you nervous a little bit?
I don't know what kind of secrets I'm going to share that I shouldn't share, kind of an overshare sometimes. So
I see so much value in that.
Yeah.
Like, bleed it out. Like, what's there to hide?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Just that is authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So share it all, man.
Love it, man.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, let's do it.
And how John and I got connected just through Instagram.
Yeah, saw you on Instagram, saw the wonderful work you're doing here.
Appreciate it.
I want to be a part of that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to play in his playground.
Thanks, man. How did you come across it?
Man, I don't know. Just
Saw a clip or something?
Yeah, I saw a clip. And I may have seen it a year or so ago, and I feel like I've seen it before. And then I came across again, and yeah.
Well, welcome, man. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
John, what does life look like for you today? Like, what is, where are you at? What do you do? Where are you at spiritually, emotionally, all those things? Just kind of hit on those things.
So for your audience to see, I know you got the camera angle set up a certain way, but just as a little teaser, here's what we got here. We've got $30,000 prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
It's kind of the crux of my story.
Yeah.
Where a lot of it started. So we're gonna dive into that in a little bit, and it has taken me from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. I've been partied at the Playboy Mansion with Adam Sandler as a result of my amputated limb. I've invented a product that's helped guys win gold medals in the Paralympics.
Wow.
Man, it has been a wild journey. And where I'm at today is I'm grateful to be 5 years sober. Start off with that, only by the grace of God.
Congratulations.
So without that, I would be dead.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If not physically, then spiritually dead, like as I have been multiple times in my life.
Good Lord.
But today I am extremely grateful. Life isn't perfect, but I am present in my life today. I've never been more present in my life, and that is, most of my life I just ran for myself. And now today, I'll tell you, last night I struggled last night. I've got some ongoing pain. I got some ongoing chronic pain issues with my leg. I've got ankle surgery. I've had multiple ankle surgeries the last 6-7 months. Amputated limb causes chronic pain. It doesn't always fit all the time. And last night I was struggling and I was tired of suffering. I was just calling out to God. I was like, God, I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of suffering. It's so crazy because I was able to sit there in that pain and in that what could be loneliness, and I didn't feel alone.
Yeah.
And I was able to just pour it out and just cry out to God and say, please continue to be here in my pain. I woke up today and it feels a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I'm going into a prosthetic appointment, going into my leg dealer, my leg doctor, my leg dealer here after this.
Name drop.
Get my leg worked on. But I'm to answer your question, I feel very present today. And sometimes that sucks.
Yeah.
It
can.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? You speak on God a lot. You're a man of faith. What do you think God's teaching you this season of life? What do you think the lesson may be? Or is that still coming,
Yeah, it's still coming. So to answer your question, what am I doing today? So I'm doing more motivational speaking.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on a podcast circuit right now, promoting motivational speaking for overcoming adversity,
Yeah.
Mental health, substance abuse, resiliency, resilient pursuit, keep going when life's getting tough. And so anybody out there that might need a speaker for a group, just got asked by a group out in LA this weekend, got a message on Instagram, a group out in LA. They're looking for a speaker on mental health and addiction and in June. So I'm hoping that comes through. They're going to present me to the board. And so I'm looking for actively booking more speaking opportunities.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what he's teaching me right now is that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You feel like you're at this point in your life, you're like, I feel like I should know what I'm doing right now. And the way I say that is I have not, I guess, packaged a message that is as clear as I would like, because my story, we'll get into it, my story covers such grand ground and so many ups and downs and so many facets to it that I don't know what my core message is. And so, for God to use me, I'm like, Lord, what can I... Please guide me into what is going to help me break through to more people for your glory.
Yeah.
And so lately I've just kind of been throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. And so what I've done is, here I am 48 years old, and I've been speaking for a number of years. I'm an award-winning public speaker. Toastmasters is a worldwide public speaking support group.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Toastmasters?
I've heard of Toastmasters. Actually, never mind.
Yeah. So they're worldwide, and they've been around for 100 years maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but probably around 100 years. And I joined them in 2017, 2018, 2016, 2017, started taking group kind of support group for public speaking. Within a year and a half, I won 3 awards in the comedy speech contest. I entered international speech contest. I got 3rd in the state of Tennessee on a speech on the heroin epidemic. And then they flew me out to Orange County and put me on the cover of their magazine.
So you know what you're doing when it comes to public speaking.
Yes, but again, my message is not as clear as I need it to be, and I'm realizing that. And so God's using this opportunity for me to reach out for help. One of the things I love talking about, I love speaking about, and post about on my socials at John Mabry Connects is reaching out for help. You don't have to have all the answers. And here I am not doing what I'm asking other people to do, and that's ask for help. So I've joined a brand builders group is based here in Nashville.
Sweet.
And they help people build their personal brands. And so I just got a coach. I just had my first meeting with my coach last week, and we're going into an intensive on Wednesday and Thursday this week, all day intensive Wednesday and Thursday. And so I've signed up for a year program. I'm diving in like I did for Toastmasters. I was so scared to do it, but once I did it, I was on the cover of their magazine.
That's really cool,
winning awards. And so this is one of those things that I'm just trusting God. Like, hey, man, I know you're putting these people in place to help me serve the Lord's purpose for my life in a more direct way, in a more tangible way. And so anyway, I'm open for growth.
Yeah, man, and I think that's an amazing thing, and I think that's important. You could be, because talking about, the accolades and stuff like that, like you obviously got an impressive delivery, right? And you could be content in that, but you still want to hone it in a little bit more. And I think that's always important.
Yeah.
Even 6 years into my business, I had to ask myself last year, like, what is Relentless Pursuit now? What is it? It was this thing, and it all came like, this is a platform for truth and honesty and healing. Like, it's honed in. I know exactly what it is. So when people ask me, what do you do? I kind of get tripped up because I'm like, well, a lot of different things. And I was like, dude, that just sucks because it's not wrong, but I want to be more direct with it. I want to know a little bit better.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So,
and that'll change over time, I'm sure, a little bit.
Yeah, we're different people from one day to the next, and 1 month, 1 year to the next. We change as people.
If you're growing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of what you said kind of goes into, it's almost like God's telling you, like, hey, let go of control.
Yes.
That's the thing, because that's been one of my biggest lessons is is letting go of control. And when you do that, it just comes to you.
Yeah.
Move with intention, but let go of control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear, dive into more of your story. I do got to ask a question. Do you know a guy named Steve Crawford? Steve-O Crawford. Lives out in Colorado. He's an amputee. He lost his leg in a motorcycle wreck. He's actually one of my first podcast guests, good friend of mine.
Okay.
And I was wondering, because he's pursuing the Paralympics and snowboarding and X Games and stuff like that. So I didn't know, because I know he goes around to a lot of events and advertises like prosthetics and stuff. I don't know. There's big, like, I don't know what you call it. Almost like a conference.
Yeah.
For stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude.
So he's super proactive.
You haven't lived till you've been to a prosthetic conference. I'll tell you what, man, they got like tables with like prosthetic eyes and fingers.
I might not be accepted. I'd be like, what do you need, dude? No, I'm just kidding.
There's a guy selling shirts that says 25% off or 50% off for a double amputee.
That's pretty funny, man. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's take it back. We hear about where you're at today. Where do you hail from?
Man, so my mother and father had me in San Antonio, Texas, born and raised in Texas. Yeah. Had a great upbringing, what I would consider a normal childhood.
Yeah. Everything
that I needed and most everything that I wanted. And had older brother, Matt. He was 3.5 years older, typical older brother.
Yeah.
And grew up with in a Christian household.
Okay.
My mother's father, my grandfather, was pastor of First Baptist Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma for 35 years and pastored some other churches around. But he and Billy Graham came up at Bible college together. So he and Billy Graham started their careers together in school, and they were friends throughout their entire careers. And so I had this grandfather that we really I put on a pedestal, that he was a hero of mine. I saw him, got to, when we go visit Tulsa for holidays and stuff, got to see Grandpa, and he'd introduce us at the church, and it was a big to-do. It was interesting growing up with what I would call we kind of considered him a celebrity in the family. Yeah. and I got to see him. He did a TV show in Tulsa for a few years. I got to go one time to the studio, and I saw this like fake book, like he was in this fake office in this kind of warehouse, studio thing. And it was interesting to see kind of the fakeness of it, but how it looked real on TV. And it just kind of planted a seed with me. It was like, maybe I want to do that one day. And I ended up pursuing going on into college communications, and ended up in Hollywood doing acting and stunt work, and now it's public speaking. And I think it all kind of stems from seeds that were planted in my childhood.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Totally different though.
Yes.
Totally different avenue.
Yeah. Well, and now I'm coming back to, maybe, I don't have to have gone through seminary to be able to spread God's message. Now I went through, drug and alcohol and, fast living. To be able to come back around. So it's just a different approach.
Who were you before, I guess the world broke you open?
Yeah, so I was always insecure. And so I had ear surgeries as a kid, 6 ear surgeries as a child, from probably ages 6 to 14. Ended up having a transplanted eardrum and prosthetic bones put in my ear out of state. I had to fly out of state for this surgery. And I didn't figure this out till years later in trauma therapy, that my trauma started as a child through these medical trauma. I don't know, that was a thing.
Yeah.
Because I was always funny guy, Mr. Personality. My senior year in high school, the senior superlatives were given at prom, and my goal senior year was to get class clown.
Yeah.
Get class clown.
Gotta be.
Well, I ended up getting class clown, most outgoing, most school spirited, and best personality.
Rock star.
So that was the addict in me that's like, I'm going to go for one thing and I want to get all four.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't even know those other superlatives existed, but that's how insecure I was. I figured out years later I was covering up for feeling defective and broken and insecure, and something was wrong with me. I had all the love and support from family and friends going through surgeries and stuff, but I just felt broken inside. I felt
like something was missing.
Yeah, and in recovery, 12-step recovery, they call it restless, irritable, and discontent.
Yeah.
I just always felt restless, irritable, discontent, and it was medical trauma.
Yeah. That's interesting. Because I've talked about like childhood trauma stuff and this since I went through, and how it affected me all the way. I mean, it still does.
Yeah.
I've learned about it. I guess I learned it being the root of a lot of things last year, but it took me 30-something years to really figure out, like, that's why I react this way. Mm-hmm. This is my anger. Comes from that, the protection part, all this stuff. And so it's interesting to hear where people's stuff stems from as a child, but it all of our reactions stem from childhood.
Yep.
We just got to do the work to go back. It could be anything, medical or just a name or whatever the case is, right? But
absolutely, yeah. So for any listener out there that doesn't think you have something that stems from your childhood that affects you today and you've never looked at it, I encourage you to consider
100%
stuff that we learn to protect ourselves as children out of survival in the environment that we grew up in.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we just carry that stuff into adulthood and into, and then we pass it on to our kids. We pass that trauma over to our children if we don't.
Generational.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to break that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You find yourself, most people are living in survival mode in some form.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that obviously affected you. Yeah.
Yeah. So medical trauma as a kid, didn't even know it till way later. Graduated high school and went on to Baylor University, get my undergrad in communications.
Okay.
And had a great experience. My parents went to school there, aunt and uncles. My cousin and I went there to school together. So had a great experience in college. Was doing the normal fraternity party thing. Life was completely manageable. Had social life, had, academics were fine.
Yeah.
And by senior year, man, life was perfect.
Kind of the American dream, right?
It was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm living my dream life. As a senior in college, I had a full ride scholarship, so I did video work for the football team. So I got the same scholarship the football players got.
Nice.
So it's like signing. My senior year, I'd earned a spot on the team for video work, and so I got the same scholarship football players got. I got to register with the football players, like counselors, so you get in all the classes you want because you get to register first.
Yeah.
They know what classes, what are the easier teachers and the easier classes for the athlete, put the athletes in. So I got, like, oh, for English, you want to take this guy. And you don't want to take, you got to have 2 more years of a foreign language and you barely got through Spanish. Yeah. We don't want to put you in German. We put our guys in Swahili.
Yeah.
So,
really?
Yeah.
Dang.
So next thing you know, I'm showing up at the Swahili class with all the athletes,
That's funny.
So
you got hooked up.
So yeah. So I'm making money. I'm getting paid. I got school paid for. I'm dating a cheerleader who was our fraternity sweetheart. She was voted our fraternity sweetheart. And I was social chairman of my fraternity, setting up events with sororities. And I'd set up this cruise out of New Orleans.
You were the man.
I was, man. Well, I thought I was. But again, I was very insecure under the surface. And, but I set myself up to look presentable to the world and into myself too. And so I looked, successful on the outside.
Yeah.
And I'd set up this cruise out of New Orleans for 35 of us. And bunch of us drive from Waco, Texas to New Orleans. We go on this booze cruise 2000, we go Cozumel and we come back and we're driving and that's when the world changed, man. That's when about 7 or 8 seconds changed everything when a tire blows out. And there was 4 of us in a car driving back, beautiful day, no drinking or driving. Friend had a cruise set on 70. Ashley was driving. Spence was up front with her. My girlfriend at the time was back with me. We were passenger seat. Everybody had their seatbelts on. Could not have been going any better, man. I'm going back. We're going to go crush this last semester of school. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. And tire blows out. And right where your tire blows out, and the car just starts shaking violently. Just
yeah.
And all of a sudden, we start veering toward the median of I-45 outside of Houston. And we hit the median and did like a 180 and started rolling. Witness reports say we rolled between 6 and 12 times. I was conscious the whole time. I saw somehow my legs got out the window, and I just saw it all happening. It's trying to pull my legs in, trying to save myself, and trying in survival mode. And the car rolls across the median, misses traffic on the other side of the interstate into a field, and the car comes to a stop upside down. And I say, I got to get out. This thing's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. Get out. Undid my seatbelt. I fell. I get to the edge of the window to stand up to get out, and I look down, and my foot was wrapped around. My foot was dangling on the end of my shin, and my foot was dangling on the end of my shin, and I was essentially standing on my shin. So I just threw myself out of the car, and I crawled out as quick as I could, just scurried out as quick as I could. It's gonna blow up. I'm gonna die. I told myself I'm gonna die right now. I get out. And I look back, and all 3 of my friends are still in the car. So I had a decision. Do I stay here, save myself, or do I go in and possibly go down with the ship? I said, man, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I wasn't trying to help.
Yeah.
So in a life and death situation, you're in survival mode. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go try to save somebody else.
Yeah.
So crawl back in,
the right thing to do.
I'm like, if we all go, hey, at least we're all going together. But it's like, I don't want to be the lone survivor out here. You know,
yeah.
like, I don't,
imagine living with that. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Like I could have gotten one person out, or 2 of us could have survived if I would have helped out. So I did. I crawled back in, and all along picking up gravel and dirt. Like my ankle was just exploded open, so I'm picking up gravel, dirt, grass from the road, side of the road. Got my ex-girlfriend out. Spence was tending to Ashley up front, and she was unconscious. But crawl out, land on the side of the road, and the world just became so chaotic. It was so, ambulances, fire trucks, you got road flares going up, you got traffic stopped, you got everybody slowing down, you have witnesses that have stopped and come around to see what's going on. My legs were so bad, they had to put blankets over my legs. It was so grotesque. And first responders come in. They come in to cut Ashley out with the jaws of life. And the jaws of life open up, just tearing that metal open. There's glass cracking again, and they're breaking the windshield out with sledgehammers and trying to get her out. Pull her from the wreckage, and in comes a helicopter. Comes in, helicopter comes in. I'm going, what the heck is my world was perfect.
Yeah,
I had this perfect little bubble I was in, and now this, like I was not equipped to handle this kind of stuff. And so they take Ashley off in a helicopter, and she ends up passing in a helicopter before they got her to the hospital. Her name's Ashley Furman. She was just 19 years old, and love keeping her memory alive.
Yeah, for sure.
When I tell the story. So I ended up having to move home into a hospital bed in my dad's home office, and go from being Mr. Independent and Mr. All Over Campus in college to Mr. Fraternity and everything going perfect. And I lose my scholarship. My scholarship gets pulled because I can't do the work anymore, and somebody else has to take over the job. I can't go to classes. I can't walk. My mom's changing, my urinal in my bed. Can't go to the bathroom on my own. In and out of surgeries, I ended up having 14 procedures in a year, nerve blocks and things. Dude, I had a hole in the side of my foot. They took one of my abdominal muscles out and attached it into the hole in my foot. And took skin off my hip and did a skin graft. It looked like a piece of hamburger meat. They just like slapped on the side of my foot. I mean, it really did.
Life humbled you fast.
Yes. God. And so, had this perfect life, and then all of a sudden now they're moving body parts around, and I ended up getting to the point. Long story short, I got to the point where I was in so much pain all the time, and I would have a procedure, recover from it, go back to school, try to go to classes, hobble around on crutches, and then a cane, and I had a brace up to my knee. I had a customized shoe that I had to have built because my ankle structure started to collapse.
Yeah,
and it's just a 22, 23-year-old college kid with a cane and a brace and constant pain. I was like, man, this is not any quality of life.
How were the other two?
Other two people, relatively minor injuries.
Okay.
Yeah, so they end up coming out okay.
Dang.
Yeah.
That is insane. And it's crazy how vividly you remember every bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about my accident before. Like, it's like you could just, it's like it's recording, and you can replay it in your head pretty often.
That's interesting you say that because, and I envisioned my life as it was happening, as the accident's happening, they're the car's shaking and we're rolling. I saw my life as a film reel.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, and I told myself I was going to die right then. And it was almost like a film reel was, the old school film reel would turn. And then when it runs out, it goes. And I felt like my life was coming to an end. I go, this is the end of my life. This is where the film reel rolls out. This is where the film reel comes to an end. It's going to turn to black.
You described this story of this insane accident. A loss of a friend. That's absolutely tragic. I mean, the overall situation was a tragedy, you were humbled quickly, and it's crazy how life just hits you like that. And you talked about something too that really hit me, because you talked about how you had this front in your personality and who you were and everything was so good. And it's something I had been reflecting on recently. I'm working on a piece I want to put out. It's just like, who are you without? Like people put so much value in money. So you got this guy that's real wealthy, and it's like, okay, he's very successful in business. Tomorrow, the dollar can mean nothing. Who are you when everything else is stripped away? And that's why I like things like character and stuff, things you build through adversity, through all these different instances. that truly make you a person of value, because at the end of the day, money means shit, right? And so I just find it very interesting, because I think that's what you had to go to, is like, there's probably a point, and you'll get to this where you're like, who am I? And so that I want to start with asking, what do you think at that time, what did you lose beside your leg?
Great question.
Take your time.
What did I lose at that time other than my leg?
Yeah.
I don't know if I felt I'd lost anything other than that.
Okay.
So if I'm being honest, so talk about money.
Yeah.
I had my amputation March 2001, a year after my accident. The day before I graduated college that May, I got a temporary prosthetic so that I could walk across the stage to get my diploma on a temporary prosthetic. And the day before I graduated, I signed a settlement for my car accident. So I don't always share this, but my car accident was a Firestone Ford Explorer debacle. So back in 2000, tread was separating off Firestone tires, coupled with the Ford Explorer. They knew about it. Cars were crashing. People were dying. They knew about it. It just hadn't been public yet. So
until then.
Yeah. Until my attorney is the one that took it to Congress and got it out in the public.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it was your vehicle?
So no, it was a friend's car.
It was just the tire.
Friend's car.
Okay.
But money does not solve problems, because I signed, again, going back to like, I felt like an athlete getting an athlete scholarship in college, and all of a sudden, and now I sign, a multi-million-dollar settlement the day before I graduate college. It was kind of like an athlete signing a contract.
Yeah.
And then going off into the real world. So I didn't feel like I lost anything.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and here, you know what? Somebody told me this early on after my accident. They said, good thing this happened to John because he can handle it. And through that, I feel like I lost a sense of being able to break down.
Yeah.
Because there was an expectation that, because of his personality, because of his get up and go, his drive and his humor, he's going to make it through this just fine.
Bro, I relate to that so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, from my accident. I mean, just like I was told those kinds of things.
Like, oh, good. You got this.
I mean, there's people that call me Superman, and then like I don't look at it that way. I'm just like, man, it was meant for me to survive. But then you saying this, it just hits me hard, because there's that expectation. Like, Joe is built for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's special. And I never thought I was special, but then other people do plant that seed, and they don't mean anything by it.
Yeah, they mean well.
They do mean well. And so you appreciate it, but it does it does kind of put this armor on you.
Yeah, it's this expo. So yeah, I lost the ability to be able to feel like that I needed to break down, and that I couldn't handle it, because I couldn't. I mean, just like a soldier going to war and going through traumatic experience, PTSD and all that. Like I went through a similar situation, and I just was not prepared. I know I diagnosed with PTSD for a decade.
Yeah.
Like, duh. Like, yeah. So ended up walking the stage, got my diploma, ended up moving out to San Diego to work on a master's in counseling. I thought I would take my stuff that I went through and be able to help other people. And I didn't really see myself as a counselor per se, but I felt like it was part of my journey to go learn how to help serve others.
You did. So sorry, just to go back, was there ever a moment where you felt like life wasn't worth moving forward, or you kind of just like rolled with it?
Yeah. I got this. I got this.
I feel you. Yeah.
Just kind of like, all right, what's the next challenge? Let's get this.
Yeah. You're like, I can take on anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good belief to have. Like you can take on anything, but also when you do so unexposed, working on the deeper layers of yourself, like, yeah, you can take on anything, but like the other shit catches up with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to face all of it, all the things that you overlooked at some point.
Yep. I pushed it all the trauma of the accident and seeing my friend's, skull and all the stuff, all the surgeries I went through, seeing body parts moved around. I mean, I've had transplanted body parts. I've had body parts cut out and repurposed somewhere else. And then I've had body parts cut off.
Insane.
And I just push it all aside. I got this.
Yeah.
And growing up in the church, again, there was a God element in my family of, prayer and stuff, but I just, it wasn't really on my, I went to, private Baptist university.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I got this. It wasn't really a thing that I deeply connected with, because I felt like I had control.
Yeah.
Pull myself up. God's got me in the he got me back there, but I got this up here. I got
yeah.
I'm in the driver's seat. We'll throw him in the trunk and
insane.
We'll pull him out some other time.
So you're moving forward. You've got the money, you got all this going on.
All right, so now I got options. I got some options. Got a prosthetic leg, got some options, and moved out to San Diego State. I got a condo in Mission Bay in San Diego, attending San Diego State University, the only guy, in grad school owning, Bayside condo,
Yeah, I made it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then enter the pills. Alcohol was always under the surface from college, from the fraternity thing, but life was manageable through college. Then I get the painkillers, and then I couldn't focus because of later diagnosis PTSD. I had trouble staying focused, and so then it was prescribed Adderall. And once I got my hands on those 3 substances, I would just rotate between the 3. And back then you could doctor shop. They weren't tracking like they do now. And so I could go from one doctor to the next to get multiple prescriptions of these pills. And nobody knew. Nobody knew that I was abusing anything, or life appeared fine on the surface. I'm working for a nonprofit helping raise millions of dollars for people with disabilities. We're getting people with disabilities access to sports through this nonprofit out in San Diego, and I'm doing TV interviews on local San Diego news channels. We had 2 athletes win the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage at the ESPYs in 2005. So I'm backstage at the ESPYs. Oprah presents our guys with the award. I'm hanging out with Oprah. LeBron lets me cut in line at the ESPY after party.
Yeah.
At the buffet table. He's like, "Oh, you're with Oprah? Go ahead."
You're a hot shot.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh no, you're with Oprah. Go." So yeah, I got guys like, I'm at the backstage with The Rock and Peyton Manning, and I ended up getting to the end of my graduate school program. Got married to somebody I knew at Baylor. She moved out to San Diego, and ended up getting to the end of this 3 years master's program. And I was like, what am I going to do? I haven't even begun to work on myself. Yeah. Going into counseling was a way for me to look at other people's problems, but not look at my own. Isn't that funny how we just create diversions, that we just create distractions from ourselves in the name of doing good work?
Oh man. Yeah. It's easy to do so. And then we walk past every mirror, we're like, don't even acknowledge it, right?
Yeah.
But then one day it's just like in your face. You've got to look into it. And I think that's interesting, because it doesn't take away from the good work you were doing.
Yeah.
And I think but that all, again, with everything everybody said to you, like, oh, you were made for it and all this stuff, it also built your ego up to a place that, eventually, I assume, stripped down pretty, knocked down pretty hard.
My ego was already big in college, and then I get this settlement, and then I move out to San Diego, and then I'm doing some triathlons and doing races. The organization sending me around doing races. I set up clinics for kids with disabilities in New York City at Central Park, and in Chicago at Grant Park.
And that's great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely great stuff. Helping raise millions of dollars. Great work. Again, just not looking at myself ever through any of this, and pills and alcohol were under the surface, just continuing to brew.
And you bring that up, sorry to interrupt, but you bring that, because I wouldn't be able to bring guests on like you. Like, I could do it for so long, but my conversations are getting deeper, rawer, realer. People are bringing me stuff that they haven't shared with anybody on camera. If I didn't work on myself, that wouldn't continue. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it kind of goes along with what you're saying. Like, I have to work on myself, or I'm not going to be able to create the space for others to truly want to trust me with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I bring that up because you were kind of facing something similar. Like, how do I expect others to really lean into me if I got all this shit going on?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I going to counsel somebody when I can't even, I'm not even willing to be counseled myself.
Dang.
And I would show up at counseling, but it was just to get the pills. It's like I would go to the psychiatrist or the counselor, and it was all surface level stuff. Everything's great. Everything's fine. But it was never deeper level stuff.
Oof. Yeah.
So I get to the end of this 3 years master's program, and the greatest diversion ever for somebody like myself, who was a communications major, originally wanted to go into sports broadcasting. I got an opportunity to go to Hollywood and act as an amputee stunt person, as amputee stuntman.
I mean, that sounds badass,
dude. I mean, at least for me, growing up thinking I could go get blown up on Hollywood sets on major productions, sign me up.
That sounds like a lot
and
of fun.
Pay me money.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Well, here's what's crazy is so the first TV show to come out about the war in Iraq was called Over There.
Okay.
And it lasted 1 season on FX, produced by Stephen Bochco, who did like NYPD Blues, LA Law, Doogie Howser in the 80s. So he's I think he won 13 or 15 Emmy Awards. Steve Bochco is a big guy. He's now since deceased, but he was producing this show. And it was the first show about the war in Iraq to come out. The first TV show to come out while the war was still going on anywhere in the world. So this is a very controversial topic. Yeah. Should they be putting out a show when a war just kind of got started? Do people want to see it? Is this relevant, or is this pushing the limits? So it was controversial. It was creating, in the media, like, dude, they shouldn't be doing this. It's too soon. There's guys dying over there. The guys are just starting to die, and now you want to go glorify it and make money off of it. So it was controversial at the time. And what's crazy, my cousin, who's an actor, got cast as the lead. He's the #1 guy on the first TV show about the war in Iraq.
Dang.
He's going to get his leg blown off, his right leg blown off below the knee on a roadside bomb. I lost my right leg below the knee, roadside accident. So he calls me up and is like, hey, man, can you take me through what you went through in your car wreck so that I can connect with my character? Because this is the biggest role I've had yet. I'm really scared. I'm really nervous. I've never had a role this big. It's a huge production. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I took him through what I went through my car accident, just kind of over the phone. And we were hanging up the phone. I go, what are they going to do for your leg shots? And he goes, oh, probably, computer or something. I said, well, let me know if you need any help. He said, all right. Like a week later, he calls me. He goes, hey, they want to see you. I was like, oh, they want to see me? Somebody wants me? Yeah. So right as I'm graduating grad school and could potentially go help other people in counseling, never really counseled myself. I got another great diversion, another great ego boost. Oh,
Hollywood's
they want me. They want me. So I go up to meet the directors and producers. My cousin and I have a similar look and build. And so they're like, you're on site, they're like, you're hired. Can you work 13 episodes? Can you hire on? All right, here's contract. You're a technical consultant. So I got hired on as an amputee technical consultant.
Nice.
Got my foot in the door in the industry by using a prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, we're in People Magazine and Access Hollywood and USA Today are coming out and doing, national stories on two cousins working together.
Really?
First TV show. Yep. Then the Bochcos came and did a fundraiser for the organization I was working with and helped raise tens of thousands of dollars and overnight.
Yeah.
And because Miss Bochco saw me on set and pulled me aside and she was like, Stephen and I personally just want to thank you for the professionalism that you're showing here. Because they had blood and guts and they had, it looked like bone was sticking out of my leg and all this stuff. And so it's interesting when here's a funny story I don't share all that often is when an amputee gets blown up, or at least this was early, right? When the war was just coming out, first TV show. Uh-huh. And so when they would have me get blown up or do something crazy as an amputee on set, the bigwigs come down out of the offices. They come down out of the high-rise offices to come down to watch. They're like, we want to watch this.
Yeah, we got to see what's going on.
So you have Mr. and Mrs. Bochco sitting there just kind of keeping an eye on things. Dang. And then they pull me off aside and were like, hey, we really appreciate you being here. Can we do a fundraiser for that organization you're working with? And so again, great work was being done. Money was being raised. Ego was being built up. And next thing you know, I'm on NCIS and ER. Worked on an episode of Cold Case. Other stuff you probably wouldn't know, but the one anybody cares about is Superbad.
Really?
That's the big one. Yeah. No. So
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
You didn't know it? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, I got to see the Superbad at Jonah Hill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
it's just that I remember when that movie came out, especially at the time, it was like one of the funniest movies. It was so ridiculous. But so I'm gonna have to go revisit it now.
It's on a list as one somebody rated it the #1 comedy movie or funniest movie of all time. Or
what was that experience like? I mean, it sounds like you had a lot of fun, and I've always heard that the stuntman world is like really cool. Mm-hmm. Because I met actually the Rock stunt double, his cousin. I forget his name, but he actually was at an event in Murfreesboro, bought some of my shirts, bought some apparel. Oh, and he looks just like the Rock. He's just super jacked and bald, like tattoos. It's like, oh, okay, I see why you are his stunt double. But yeah, he was telling me that it's just like you're in your own. You get what I'm saying? You got like the actors and you got the stunt people. They all
everybody's got kind of their own silo.
Yeah.
But it is a small community. So one thing I learned being there is it's a real small knit community. So I worked on the show Over There with my cousin, and then that got canned after a year. It wasn't getting the viewership. So after 1 year, it got canned, and then a little while later, I got a call from a lady who was working on a movie. And she was like, hey, we got our lead actor. He's an amputee. We need a body double for him. I saw you on Over There. Would you come help us out on this? So yeah, so it's kind of a small, tight knit community.
Really cool.
And it's very, for me, it was very lonely. It's very self-serving. It was very ego-driven, and yet I was so insecure. I was so insecure about myself. I could have gotten more roles if I was more grounded in if I had a better sense of self. I think a lot of actors who go maybe do it professionally and they grow up in school doing acting is they know who they are and they go play another character, but they know who they come back to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I never knew who I was my whole life. I was acting my entire life. I was playing a different character every single second based on wwho I was in front of.
Yeah.
I never knew who to come back to. I didn't have a home. And so going out in LA when you're auditioning for stuff, and then I put myself out there and audition, I'm already terrified and scared. What are they going to think of me? What are they going to think of me? And it could be something as simple as you're too tall, or your hair's not the right color.
Yeah.
Whatever. It could be something so trivial, but it was terrifying putting myself out there because I didn't know who I was.
Fear of rejection.
Yeah. And then you get rejected, and you're like, oh, I'm not good enough.
Yeah. Oh God.
But then when you get something, you're like, oh, I'm good enough. Yeah. And then it switches to like, oh, now I'm way up on this. Oh, I got this thing. Oh yeah, now I'm good. Now I'm somebody.
Yeah, and then you see an opportunity that you could get, but you're like, no, they might. You talk yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all along, substance abuse kept getting kind of worse and worse in LA. And dude, I mean, I've been backstage at the ESPYs, made it to the Playboy Mansion. I've been there. Adam Sandler, Bruce Willis, Emma Stone, all these people rubbing shoulders with it. Who doesn't want to go to LA, go to the ESPYs and go to the Playboy Mansion? It was like, I've arrived.
Yeah, you're like, I've made it in life.
Kind of back to my senior year in college, I was back on top.
Yeah.
So it seemed. And then it all got ripped out from under me again. Life.
Do you mind telling me like a crazy memory from like all those experiences before the shift? I don't know. You probably got some crazy stories from like doing all this stuff.
All right.
Right?
So one is in New Year's 2005. My cousin, he was dating Kaylee Cuoco, who's on The Big Bang Theory. She's the blonde on Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Right? So they're dating, and they threw this big New Year's Eve party on a Hollywood set. And so it was a whiteout party. She was on the show 8 Simple Rules at the time. John Ritter was on it. He had just passed away on that show, and so she had all of her fellow actors from that show there, and there's people that she knew. And anyway, so it's whiteout party. You walk down this Hollywood set. It's almost like you're on a street of New York, like in Seinfeld. You have like the deli, and you got a cleaners, and they're blowing fake snow off the top of the roof. And so you wear all white, and you're walking down this Hollywood set street, and there's fake snow going off. You're walking into these white tents, and everything was all white, and it was just beautiful New Year's party.
Yeah.
And then Andy Dick shows up. If you know anything about Andy Dick, and I'd run into him once or twice before in town, and he was an interesting character. Struggles with a lot of addiction stuff, and he's had a scattered past, but he ended up. So we're leaving. My ex-wife and I we're gonna go to Kaylee's condo after the New Year's party, and so we're gonna go grab a cab up by sunset. We're hopping into a cab, and all of a sudden this third body just jumps in the cab with us, and it's Andy Dick. Like, oh, great. So we said, just follow that maroon Porsche. We're following Kaylee. She's got my cousin and a couple friends in there. And so we just follow that Porsche. We're going to go to her condo for after party. And we're going, and Andy Dick gets a phone call, and he goes, all right, change of plans. He was like, we're going to leave these low lifes down here. I'm going to take y'all to the big time. And I think he said we were going, I think it was like the guy that produced X-Men series at the time, X-Men movies. That's where we were headed. And here's the thing. It's like, man, once you can't get, this is before Uber.
Yeah.
You can't get a cab to come get you up in the hills. Once you're up in the Hollywood Hills on a New Year's, a cab's not going to drive 15, 20 minutes back, to come get you, bring you back down. So once you're there for the night. And so here we are driving up into the hill, not knowing where we're going. Andy Dick, dude, I knew his past, and I was like, what kind of weird party?
It's going to get wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to bring my wife here, my ex-wife. Like, I'm not getting stuck up here. So we pull up into this cul-de-sac, and we get out, and he hands the cab driver $20. He's like, here's what we owe you for the ride. Just stick around for 5 minutes. We're going to have one drink. We'll be right back out. And I'm like, nobody ever has just one drink. The cab's not going to wait it's not going to be 5 minutes. It's going to be an hour.
Yeah.
And then the cab driver's going to leave. It's New Year's. He wants to make money. He's not going to just sit up there and do nothing. He's going to go back down and haul people around at the bars and the clubs.
Yeah.
So he starts to walk off to meet his friend coming down the driveway, and we get in the car, get in the cab, shut the door, and lock the doors real quick, and told the cab driver, I was like, dude, just get out of here. And he's like, are you serious? Like, please just get out of here. And he's like, feel out. And Andy Dick's like running back. Hey, don't leave me up here. Don't leave me up here.
Dang.
We're like, see ya.
Bailed on Andy Dick.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Do you feel bad about it?
No, not at all. No, because we got back to the place, and it was like, all right, man, I'm so glad I'm home tonight. Not some weird.
It was like that discernment, man. You know, you were like, dude, this is going to go a bad way.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
And it's one thing if it's just like you and the boys, but then you got your wife or whatever at the time, you know, and then you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, we were just married for like 2 years. Yeah, exactly. We were just, married a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, good call on you.
So, yeah.
Who knows where that would have led?
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder?
If we went to that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'd imagine it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Another fun story. We got to go bowling at Phil Jackson's house. He won 10 NBA championships with the Bulls and the Lakers. The coach of the Bulls and the Lakers, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. He coached all of them. We got been bowling at his house.
Dang. So some pretty cool experiences. I mean, and that's the thing about I talked about my past too. It's like in the midst of all the chaos and the things that weren't correct of me, or the immoral decisions and stuff like that, there were still some great memories. But I'm glad I'm not at that place in life anymore.
So man, I felt like I was on top. Everything was coming together. It's like, oh, this is what I was made for. I was supposed to be out here. I'm supposed to use this amputation, and it all just went down.
Life just taps you on the shoulder. Remember me?
Yeah, remember you? I'm still here. And it showed up in my brother's death. My brother, my only sibling, Matt, he struggled with mental health and addiction issues, and we didn't address it as a family. We kind of pushed it under the rug, just swept it under the rug. We don't want anybody to know. And he sobered up for a year and a half and moved from New York to L.A. to be close to me. And I'm the one that found him. So I got the call that he didn't show up for work one day, and I go over to the house that he was living in there in the hills. And that's where addiction wants to take us. It's where addiction has tried to take me a number of times, is in the dark shadows of the world, isolating, alone. He was isolated in a room by himself. Brilliant, got his MBA from Georgetown, smart guy, had everything going for him. We just didn't talk about it as a family. We didn't encourage him to continue to get help. We didn't want anybody to know. And everybody found out one way or the other. And I literally kicked in his bedroom door that was locked, and he'd been dead for 3 days.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Just letting it breathe. That's tough. And y'all were pretty close.
He was my best friend.
Yeah.
So, losing a leg was one thing, but then losing brother was kind of, it was another part of my spirit that it was amputated. And when I speak a lot, I make that connection that you don't have to have lost a limb to know what it feels like to have an amputated spirit. Oof. A lot of people can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
And what is the prosthesis that you're using to hold yourself up?
Yeah.
Is it drugs and alcohol? Is it pornography? Is it a relationship? Is it the job? Is it the money? What prosthesis are you using to prop yourself up with the spiritual, with the heart, part of your heart that's been amputated?
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart. Did you know he was struggling with addiction, and did he know you were? So y'all knew?
Kind of, yeah. And, and my ex-wife had asked him to talk to me about it at one point. She was like, hey, can you talk to John? I think he's, because I was in denial. I didn't know I had a problem. She saw it living with me. She saw inconsistencies and, passed out at times and not able to wake up till sometimes, late in the afternoon, some days. So yeah, and then we went to a Dodgers game one time. He and I went to a Dodgers game, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm not really the one to really be able to talk to you about this, because I got my own issues." But Sarah's said maybe you might want to take a look at some stuff. Take a look at some of your behaviors.
Yeah.
So it's like the blind leading the blind.
But it was kind of just like, okay.
Yeah. He's like, well, check that box. I had the conversation like I told her I would.
We talked.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking you a question, if you could say something to your brother right now, what would you say? And you don't have to answer that, but
I would say thank you for his sacrifice he had some childhood trauma that he covered up, that he didn't want to share, in a way to preserve the family. And he sacrificed that for the family, I believe, looking back on it. And it taught me that I have to talk about my stuff. Mm-hmm. Him not sharing what was going on with his life killed him. And it taught me that I've got to share. I've got to be honest with what's going on, or I'm going to die.
Yeah.
So he gave me the gift of being vulnerable.
Thank you for that. Thank you. It's a very insightful and deep answer too. So, you're carrying this spirit with you in a beautiful way, man. And that's an amazing thing to see.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. Thanks,
yeah,
man.
Wouldn't be here without him.
Heck yeah. Thanks. So we're talking about lost your brother, what you would say. And I appreciate the answer on that, man. And you're right. Like that's the gold from it. We talked about the gold from situations, the gold was that sacrifice for you to become so much more. Does that make sense? Like he's a part of you in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a really cool thing.
His life and death have given me a strength that I didn't have by myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to speak up about my issues if I didn't go through as much pain and suffering through his.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want other family members, or I didn't want other people in the world to lose a family member because they weren't willing to talk.
How was the grief through that? Especially given where you were at the time as an individual. Was there a point that like that grief could have ended you, or how did you handle it?
I pushed it down. I pushed it down for quite some time. So the goal after my brother's passing in Beverly Hills, the goal was to get out of LA. We had our firstborn son out there. He was about a year old. He's 18 now. So we had our firstborn son in Los Angeles. My brother passes away. I found him, dead from an overdose. And then it was like, get out of LA. So that's why we moved here. And I got in with Dave Ramsey. Started working for Dave Ramsey.
That's pretty nuts. Everybody knows who Dave Ramsey is.
Yeah. Gets people out of debt. Great, kind of Christian warrior, normal, kind of Southern value kind of guy, and has a nice, healthy, his approach to managing finances and staying out of debt is the program he teaches, right? And so I thought getting in to work with him in a Christian environment would be really great for what I was coming through. It was already PTSD, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, all the stuff from my car accident, my friend's death, my leg amputation, my brother's death. So everything's kind of compounding and building on each other, and I'm still just I'm fine. Let me bring me with me from LA to Nashville, and let me bring my broken self into this organization that strives for excellence. It was a 7 interview process at the time.
7
interviews, and he says publicly, and when he trains other businesses how he's been successful at his business, he says I put in a new layer of interviewing. I put in a new layer of interviewing every time I hire a crazy person, because I hate hiring crazy people. They take away from my mission, my goals. They cost time and money. So I hate hiring crazy people. So I put in new layers of interviewing every time a crazy person gets in. I got in. I got past 7 layers of interviewing. Again, I've been an actor my entire life. I wasn't a professionally trained actor. I was acting to tell you what you wanted to hear about me, and I would do the chameleon, and I would be who I thought you wanted me to be in whatever setting I was in. So I just acted the part that I would be a great person on the phones calling churches to sell live event tickets to Dave Ramsey events.
It's hard to vet people sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when most of the stuff is bottled in.
Yeah. So it was less than a year, and man, I hate saying this, but I have to, because it's my truth. Is I was abusing substances on the job while calling churches. I was literally drinking vodka at my desk and popping pills while calling churches. And I say I hate saying it, but at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, I'm proud. I'm proud to be able to be on this side of it and be able to say, yeah, that's where I was, and I had shame in that. And there is still some shame. My kids might hear this one day, or my kids may hear this part of my story. But you know what? Hey, I'm not there today.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I was, but I'm not there today.
100%. That's the beauty in it, and being able to admit that. I am curious too. Like when you say you were messing with drugs, obviously you're drinking a lot. What pills were you messing with?
Pain pills and Adderall still.
Pain pills and Adderall?
Yeah. I never bought anything from the street. Everything was through a doctor. So I justified it. Yeah. Like I'm not addicted. I'm like, my doctor's giving it to me.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't, slinging meth or, cocaine or anything like that yet.
You wanted to go to find a guy, like you went to the guy in the white coat, not the,
Yeah, exactly. But I had, financial resources as well where I could doctor shop, I could go get what I could go get what I needed.
Yeah.
And there was times I would, make up excuses for needing, more pills. I would just, my leg hurts or,
Yeah.
in Hawaii one time, and then, went to I wanted pills on Hawaii, and went to ER in Hawaii just to get some pills. And,
I called my guy home. Look at me,
dude. I'm in Brazil. I went to a wedding in Brazil, and the father of the bride is a doctor, and so I'm pulling him aside at his the night before the wedding at a big party. This 50, 60 people, huge dinner party at their house. I'm pulling the doctor aside, going, "Hey man, can you write me a script? Can you write me a script? I really need some for my leg." Just manipulating people. I have, I have stolen from friends, stolen pills from friends and, family members. And
that's addiction.
Yep. But I'm grateful I'm not there today.
Yeah, 100%.
So we moved here to Nashville, get in with Dave Ramsey and get fired by Dave Ramsey. And that was a wake-up call. It wasn't the final wake-up call that I needed, but it was a wake-up call of, I've got a problem. Oh, Dave Ramsey's holding up a mirror to my face and going, and he just said, "Look, you obviously have some issues. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go get the help that you need." And that was, grab a box, get your stuff.
Damn. So he didn't demean you, but he was just like, you're this ends here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to let I'm not letting this happen on my watch.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do this with the intention of letting you go get help.
How'd you even get in the door with him?
A friend.
Oh, okay. Because you knew people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good at networking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew somebody who worked there who got me the interview. Hey, I can vouch for this guy. I know this guy. Somebody I went to college with. She got me in for the interview, vouched for me. And a couple of years later, I ended up writing her a letter of amends. In 12-step work, we hopefully you work the steps and make amends. And that was a letter I had to write of, "Hey, I'm sorry I let you down. Thank you for putting yourself out there. I'm sorry I made you look bad. I'm sorry."
Yeah. Because that can be a disappointing thing when you put your name on somebody. Hey, you can trust them. They're awesome.
Yep.
And then they do something, it stabs you in the back. You're like, what the heck?
I got hired on her team. There was just a team of 5 of us.
Oh.
It was me, her, and 3 other people, and our boss. So there's just a team of 5 or 6. It was small, and then I go and do that, and so I ended up making an amends to her, and
that's good.
So that spurred my carousel of treatment. Ended up in 5 rehab centers in 7 years, 3 sober living situations, and treatment's hard. Treatment's hard. I kind of blow over it a lot of times. My story, again, it gets complicated, and we've got more to cover here. But I just want, dude, if somebody's going through treatment or thinking about going through treatment, for me, I'm glad I went every single time I picked up and I learned tools. But it's hard, man. It's hard going and looking at yourself.
Yeah.
And each time I went, I had to go get deeper and deeper and deeper. I thought I got deep enough. I thought I went deep enough. And it just, next thing you know, I'm like, man, there's more layers I'm not addressing. And the rehab center carousel was not fun.
I hear that, I think I've heard Matt say something like this along the lines of treatment, 12 step is usually the last option people go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it is a lot of work, a lot of consistency,
Yep.
And that's not an easy thing. But obviously Dave Ramsey, that situation was that seemed to be a turning point for you, a reality check, damn, I do need to work on this.
Yeah.
But you went through a lot of rehab centers, so you were in and out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd go in, first time maybe stayed sober 3 days, and then
relapse,
maybe a few weeks, and then maybe a few months, and then I got sober for a few years there and started working for a group of addiction treatment centers. One of the treatment centers I went to, I came out of, and they were here based in Maryland Farms, right here.
Really?
Yeah. And so I went knocking on their door and said, "I just came out of your treatment center in Dallas, and I had the best experience. I got treated better here than any of the other treatment centers I'd been to. Can I answer phones?
Yeah.
Can I lick stamps? Can I mail out some flyers on your behalf? I just want, can I work?
Would you say this was rock bottom? No. Okay.
Rock bottom at the time, but I got kicked out of my house again. I'm living at a friend's house. My ex said, "You're not coming home with the kids. You're not living here." So I was living at a friend's house. That was my sober living experience. I've been in 2 real sober living houses, and then this one was a friend's house. So ended up working for a group of addiction treatment centers, and they hired me on for the director of public outreach. So once I started, I just answered phones, and then they saw my skill set, and they gave me a podcast.
Oh.
They had me traveling around the country speaking on addiction panels. I spoke at Vanderbilt and the University of Indiana, started speaking at some colleges, universities, went down to spoke at Lipscomb a number of times, and I'm sharing my story publicly aloud for the first time, and I'm using my brother's example of going, hey, my brother didn't talk about it and he died. I'm talking about it and I got a shot.
Yeah.
And so that was a motivation. Again, helping a lot of people. Underneath the surface, there were still some unresolved issues.
At this point, how long had you been sober?
About 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a production team. We had two video guys. I had a producer for the podcast. We had a marketing team. We had a PR guy.
Yeah.
And I'm interviewing 3 of the guys from the band Korn. Michael Lohan's a friend of mine. Lindsay Lohan's dad, had him on the show. 3 Doors Down, right? The singer for 3 Doors Down just passed away, this weekend. But the bass guitarist, I had him on there. Todd was on our show, and so it was. Here I am. I'm back on top.
Yeah,
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back. And always in LA, I always wanted my name on a marquee. You always want to see your name on the in the bright lights. Well, you know what? I put together this drug-free workplace training program, and I would go share it at businesses around Tennessee, and for an hour, I would share to the employees and an additional hour for the supervisors, and the company would get a big discount on their workers' comp premiums for taking their employees through a drug-free workplace training. Mm-hmm. It's a program that the state has. So I would come in for free, do this 1 to 2 hour training, and they would get a discount. And I got to do one for the city of Lawrenceburg, down south here. Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Yep. And I drive up, and so they had me in all 400 employees for the city. The guys that did gardening, the road worker guys, all these people we had in the theater, and my name, I pull up, and my name says John Mabry, the Addiction Treatment Center's name, drug-free workplace training program. And I got my picture under that, and I was so proud.
Yeah.
My name's on the marquee. I just didn't know it was going to look like this.
You were like, I made it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I just in Hollywood like I thought, but you know what? I'm helping change people's lives.
Yeah.
Helping make an impact in the world. And it was really cool.
You're like, I'm making an impact. I'm sober now.
Yep.
So you're on this high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back, and all along there was, I used the work in recovery as my recovery, and I wasn't working a recovery program.
Oh.
So you can work in the recovery field and not work a recovery program. And that's what I was doing. I would show up to work every day going, I'm helping people, but was I doing the work behind the scenes to take care of my continued anxieties? Now I got more press. I got more, tout. I got more stress. I've got more responsibility.
Yeah.
And I wasn't handling it well because I wasn't talking to my sponsor. I wasn't continuing to work the steps. I just said, I did the step work. I worked with the sponsor. Now I'm back on top. I don't need that stuff anymore.
Yeah. You weren't doing the work that was the most necessary.
Yeah. So the foundation started to crack, and I ended up drinking again.
Dang.
Yeah. So here I am working for an addiction treatment center, hosting a podcast, speaking on panels at conferences, and I started drinking again.
Just hypocrisy.
Yeah. Yes. And then I wake up knowing I was drinking behind the scenes, not telling anybody about it, showing up at work, and then there's that shame. Just toxic shame, just like, how can I be doing this?
Yeah.
And
gosh,
it all comes out, it all comes out at some point. And so ended up losing the job, the house, the wife, the kids, and a sober living house for 7 months to get through that in Nashville. And I used to share at sober living houses. I used to go share my testimony at, treatment centers and sober living houses. And here I am back in one.
So you're thinking people are looking at you like,
who's this hypocrite?
This guy's full of shit.
Yep.
What was the instance? You said you lost the job. Was that just like how you lost your house and your family and everything? Or
I needed to go back to treatment.
Yeah.
And I went back to treatment, and they held my job while I was in treatment. But once the ex filed for divorce, it just so happened. So right around this time, the company sold out to some new investors.
Okay.
So they went big, and they came in, and the new investors came in and did a huge round of layoffs. So I actually didn't lose the job because of the addiction, because of the relapse. they held my job while I went to treatment. And so when I came back to treatment, I was in a sober living house working for an addiction treatment center.
Yeah.
So I'm living in a sober living house, working for an addiction treatment center. And like a month later, they laid all that whole video team, the whole podcast team was gone. They wiped out the whole department. So it wasn't just me.
Okay.
So stayed in the sober living house through the divorce so that I had support.
Yeah.
But as soon as the divorce got finalized, I moved out to apartment because my time started with, I had to prove sobriety to be able to get more time with my kids.
Yeah.
So I had, supervised visits. I could only see them for a few hours a week with the supervisor, and breathalyze and drug test all the time.
Yeah.
Jump through all the hoops. 7 meetings a week. Start off with 7 meetings a week, and then after a period of time, I could drop down to 5 meetings a week, and then 3 meetings a week. And this whole program is set up to keep me
hold you accountable.
Yeah, accountability, and I hated it. I hated every second of it, dude. Don't really now. Oh man,
what about it did you hate so much?
I just hated being told what to do. I hated following a program that I didn't want to do. And I'm like, and I was in denial that I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. Like, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I'm a good person. I mean well. But I needed that. I mean, they have those programs set up in courts for people like me who can't live life on life's terms and struggle to get through normal life sober.
Yeah.
And so I hated it. And then COVID hits. And then I'm living on my own for the first time in my life. House is gone. Wife is gone. Kids are gone. Job is gone. Damn. I'm alone.
Rock bottom?
Yeah. Yeah. Gained 55 pounds overnight. Started eating myself, man. Eating myself to death, dude. I just wanted to die. And I ended up on my birthday. I had my kids for 24 hours, and I drank while having my kids. And my son was 12. My oldest was 12 at the time. And he comes up to me in my apartment and says, hey, Dad, Mom's coming to pick us up. I was like, hey, buddy, we were all wrestling. We were just wrestling. Went to the driving range, took my kids to the golf course, the driving range, played outside. And we come back to the apartment and kind of wrestling. And my son goes, Mom's coming to pick us up. And I was like, what, buddy, why? He said, I smell alcohol in your breath. And so that was the turning point. When your 12-year-old looks up at you and said, Dad, you're a loser. You're such a loser, Dad. I've got to protect my little siblings from you because you can't be a father.
Man, I couldn't imagine, I don't know. Yeah, being in your shoes and having your own child. It's 12.
Yeah, Mom wasn't there to protect him, right? So Mom was always there to protect him and serve as a buffer. She's gone. And here I am just completely exposed in front of my children for who I really was. Just a shell of a person. And so seeing him look at me and tell me that was like I saw myself through his eyes. And I always took the easy, my entire life I always took the easy road. I knew what the hard road was. I always took the easy one, though, every single time. And so I'm at this crossroads of going, do I lie and cover up? Do I say, oh, no, what are you talking about, buddy? Yeah. And I just said, okay.
You just knew.
Yeah. It's over. It's over.
It's like that full body sensation. I
thought.
Yep.
It's like, dude, in the acting world, we go, scene. Like the scene is over. Like you're done playing this character.
So badly did you need your son to do that, though? That was like, what a blessing for him to look at you and say that. I mean, at least now, right?
Yeah. And I've thanked him numerous times and told him he's, him and his siblings are the catalyst for where I'm at today.
It probably saved you.
Yeah. I said, yep, I'm here because of you, buddy. And I'm sorry I put you through that. I'm sorry you had to do that. You had to stand up to your dad and do that. But thank you.
Yeah.
It was the catalyst for change that I needed. Yeah. So it didn't come easy right after that. I'll tell you that because I had to go deep, and I did not. And then they took my kids away again. So now I have no more time with my kids. The kids are taken away. I had to jump through all these. I had to go to custodial evaluator. You've heard of a custodial evaluator?
I've not heard of that.
Go into the details, but I had to go in for multiple interviews, fill out hundreds and hundreds of questions. I had to interview my children, interview my ex-wife, interview me.
Yeah.
I had to jump through all these hoops to be able to tell. A professional had to be able to take a look at the whole family dynamic and go, can this guy be a dad? Does this guy have the ability to be a father, to be in his children's lives? So I had to jump through all these hoops, man. And I did it. I finally, for the first time, just submitted to this is what you got to do. And I did everything by the book for the first time in my life. I was like, I'm just going to do what they say. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And sure enough, things started to get better. Things started to slowly get better. Started getting back into therapy and went on a spiritual retreat to Bali. I've explored all my options. And really what changed is going back to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Through this experience with my kids and the last big relapse, I was like, something's not working.
Yeah.
Something's not working. What is it? And the 12-step program, AA, great. I still attend meetings. I still have an AA sponsor, but I went to Celebrate Recovery.
Yeah.
So let me try Celebrate Recovery. It's a Christ-centered 12-step group for anybody with any hurt, habit, or hang-up. So you don't have to have an alcohol problem per se. You can have codependency. Maybe your issues, anger or pride or overeating or you name it. Any hurt, habit, or hang up is welcome at a Celebrate Recovery meeting anywhere in the country or around the world. And so I came crawling into the church, to a church where I grew up. I was like, I've tried everything else. I've tried the spiritual retreats in Bali. I've tried the adventure. I've gone, skydiving in Costa Rica to try to get away from my problems, and been hiking in a Manila, Philippines, and doing all this crazy stuff. And I came back to it. Let me just go back to the church and let me see what happens. And so I got involved in the 12-step program of Celebrate Recovery. And here's the difference in AA is you work the 12 steps with a sponsor one-on-one.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Celebrate Recovery is you do a year-long step study program. Is you commit to a year with a group of other men and you work through the 12 steps together. Each week you have homework. We would come in on Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. to a small dark room in the church. And we would all share our answers. Nobody's there giving feedback. You're not trying to solve anybody's problems. You just have a chance to share your true self in front of a group of men. And it's powerful.
Yeah. Just the power of like speaking something out does so much healing.
Yep. And not just to one therapist or not just to one sponsor, but to do it in a group of men. And you're hearing them share stuff and you're like, whoa, you're sharing that?
Yeah.
Oh, so I see we're going to be that bold. Okay, I was going to hold this back. I wasn't going to share it in this group, but all right, if that guy's sharing that, all right, I'll share this. Next thing you know, you're like, we're all just, throwing up all of our childhood stuff and stuff that we've carried for decades.
Because how often do we think we carry things that others won't understand?
Yeah.
It's so crazy because to think that, because everybody carries something, right? But I don't know, as men, it's like we're almost engineered to be like, no one's going to get it. Why would I, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it probably was blew your mind when men just started doing that together.
Yeah.
That's so healing too.
And then we did it in treatment centers too, where we would share, but it was just something about being in a church, because I always grew up like the church was a, kind of a front, like you put on a front to go to church.
Yeah.
You put on the nice clothes, you got to dress nice to go to church, and you present well. And you don't really fall apart at church. Yeah. Churches were supposed to have it all together.
Yeah.
When in reality, church is a hospital for people with broken spirits.
Yeah.
And I'm not that big on religion. I am big on church community.
Yeah.
And connecting with other real men. And it's really, I look at, man, I got to go to the hospital. I got to go to the hospital in a support group in the hospital of a church, basically, to have my spirit and my heart mended back together again.
Heck yeah, man.
So I ended up doing 2 year-long step studies in a 2.5-year period. I went through one, and then they go, "Hey, we're going to do another men's step study. You want to lead? You want to co-lead our next one?" And I'm like, "What? 13 months ago, I wanted to die, and now you want me to lead a group of men? Like, all right, okay." But that's it was cool. It's cool, and I had extra responsibility, and I needed that, and so I got to go through the 12 steps again and hash out stuff that new layers of stuff came up, and so that's really what saved me, was coming back to Christ.
Yeah, you were, because you could have easily just dove right back in that, like, oh, I get to be on this high and I could ride this out. But this time you were so serious and intentional.
Yeah.
For me, like at my spiritual center, God is at the core of everything I want to do, or like I pursue, because that's eternal work, and like at the end of the day, like, I don't know, you being sober and you being that example and having that center is also the example that your kids get to see. They get to see where you were and then who you are with that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's a really cool thing. But yeah, if anything, like I feel like Christ gave it that purpose that you needed. And that's what really changed everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think that's a beautiful thing, man.
Is it easy? No. Or is life, perfect? No. But going back to when I was saying in acting, I struggled with having a home to come back to, having an identity. I had an identity crisis my whole life. I was just an actor my whole life. And now I've got this home that I, come back to. Every morning before I put my leg on, I put on my spiritual prosthesis. Before I put on my physical prosthesis, to get out of bed, I have to put on a spiritual prosthesis. And so I pray before I put my leg on every morning. Yeah. So I have a spiritual prosthesis that helps prop me up before I even get out of bed in the morning.
And that gives you that strength.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I cut myself no slack, and it's sad.
It is, man. You owe yourself more grace than anybody.
I know. It's really tough.
You give it away, but you can't give it yourself.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's something that I'm getting better at it. I've gotten better at it a lot this past year, but man, there was a point that it almost killed me. And not drugs or anything, just blood pressure.
Yeah.
Internal pressure, like what almost killed me. And I had to restructure my whole idea of what success was and this was and that was. And yeah, man, I'm working towards healing through things. And so, but I still am hard. And I understand it. I appreciate it because it's like a standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe in having a standard for yourself. And like, also being like, hey, keep yourself to it. It's self-accountability, but also like, don't set it so high that it's unattainable,
Never satisfied.
And that's the problem. What would you say is more difficult, getting sober or staying sober?
Definitely the staying sober part.
Yeah,
man. Because you get sober. It's kind of like alcohol for me. Drugs or alcohol was the pacifier to pacify my internal state, my restless, irritable, discontent state that I constantly lived in. And so when you take the pacifier away from a baby, they want to cry. And so it's like, you want to take my drugs and alcohol away. Okay. Yeah. Take the drugs and alcohol away, but to stay sober, to not be able to, not to reintroduce the pacifier, that takes work when you have to do the internal work behind the scenes when nobody's watching.
Yeah. Walking the walk,
yeah.
Living it by action, not being a hypocrite, and you can reflect on your past and admit that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a hypocrite most of my life. And so, and you and I talked a little bit ago about how the last 2 years have been, as trying as anything else that I've been through. Of all the stuff we already talked about. Then also in the last 2 years, I lost my mom. She was my biggest supporter my entire life. My grandmother almost had my leg re-amputated above the knee. Mm-hmm. And I've had 2 ankle surgeries. So, that's
a lot.
That's a lot, man. And it's a lot, but I haven't gone through it alone. And I saw why I was doing these support groups and all this stuff I had to do before, because I was on the hospital bed Easter Sunday, less than 2 years ago. And they go, we may be cutting your knee off here at a surgery at 10:30 in the morning. And everybody's at church. Everybody's, just buried my mom a few weeks before. She's not there. I'm crying in bed. I'm sobbing. Everybody's at church everybody's with their families. My kids are out of town with their mom. And they push my surgery back to 2. So I was like, oh, okay. So I called my sponsor and I said, hey man, can you and your wife be here? I go, I'm completely alone. I may be losing my leg again.
Yeah.
I don't know if, I can't do this. I can't do this. And so I get out of surgery. He's in my room. He and his wife are in my room. Within 48 hours, I had 17 visitors come see me. He put out the SOS. John's not well. The nurses were like, do you want to talk to a psychiatrist? Yes. Send in the psychiatrist. If they cut my leg off,
you started to spiral a little bit.
Yes. Could have brought up all my old PTSD from my car accident. Now I don't have my mom's support. My parents aren't here. My kids are out of town. Dude, wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair and crutches for 6 months after that surgery, or even leading up to that surgery. Like, thankfully they didn't cut my knee off. I saved my leg, but I had a wound vacuum on. I had to carry a wound vacuum on everywhere when I slept for 2 months. If you ever had a wound vacuum on, it makes this sound. It's a little pack you wear, and it had a little vacuum connected to my wound on my limb, and it goes.
Yeah. Probably drove you nuts
for 2 months. You have to sleep with it. You got to carry it everywhere. You got to go to the bathroom with it. You got to go to doctor's appointments with it. You got to go to physical therapy with it. I showed up at the gym with it. I would come in on crutches to the gym, and I would be doing pull-ups, and I'd be doing my push-ups, and I'd be doing all the stuff in the gym on one leg. Because that was like my safe space. That was my psych ward was the gym. And I was still able to, like, if I get to the gym today, I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, but it was so because it would have been so easy for you to revert back to just one drink. You know what I'm saying? Like to make the excuse to make that one mishap that bombs everything.
Man, well, and so I had 17 visitors come in 48 hours. I had 50 visitors come that first week. I was in the hospital and then a rehab center for 8 days. I had over 50 visitors, and then meal trains came. People come start, and that's, man, I needed that. I needed people come by and bring food and fellowship with others. And so, man, that's where accountability and friends and stuff comes in handy. And I was willing to ask for help. I was willing to say, I can't do this alone. And so
an alignment with the right people in your life.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people go to rehab or something and they go back to the people that enable the issues. Mm-hmm. And so it's easy to fall back into like, oh, there's like, oh, you're back. Come on, let's just do this once, and then you're back in the rehab center. I mean, I've met people that have run into that situation, but you've brought people into your life, or God has brought people into your life that are in alignment with a higher path. And so you're able to lean into them. And that's a powerful thing.
Yep.
It changes everything.
Yep.
I am curious, you're working on rebuilding trust, with your family, your kids especially, right? How do you do that in this season of your life now? Like what are some of the ways you're working on rebuilding trust?
Great question. Man, I show up when I say I'm going to show up. Every time I am expected to be somewhere, I'm there. And this is a great question. So one of my kids had struggled for a few years with going through what we went through with trust.
Yeah.
And for years now, I've been sober for 5 years. So for years I've gone, there was times when I wanted to drink early on. I go, nope, because if I get a call that one of my kids is in the hospital, if I get a call that one of my kids is in trouble, I got to be able to show up. I got to be able to show up. I can't have bloodshot eyes. I can't be hungover. I can't smell like liquor like I, used to be able to do. So there were times when I was going through the surgeries, when I was going through my mom's death and processing that and living on my own for most of the time, that if I wanted to drink, I was like, no, I got to be able to show up. If something happens to my kids, I got to show up.
Yeah. Sure
enough, it happened about 3 months ago. I got a call. My ex-wife, and she was like, "Hey, we don't know where one of our kids didn't answer the phone. He's supposed to be out of football practice. One of my kids went to go pick him up. He never came out. He waited for a half hour. He never came out of the school. He's not answering his phone." And she goes, "Can you go back to the school and check on him? We don't know where he's at."
Yeah.
And I started smiling. I go, "This is it, God. This is that call. This is what I've been working for years. Yeah. I've been working for. If something happens, I'm going to show up.
They can depend on me."
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I literally was driving in the car to the school going, "Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity. Please, Lord, let him be safe. Please, Lord, let him be safe. But thank you for this opportunity." And I show up and there's parents standing around. Come to find out, 10 kids after football practice, got stuck in an elevator.
Oh.
They got stuck in an elevator. Cell phones didn't work. Cell phones don't work great in schools already. Mm-hmm. And then you're stuck in an elevator. So it was hard for them to get communication out.
Yeah.
So he walks out. They were stuck in an elevator for an hour and a half. And my son walks out and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And it was kind of like because I'm your dad, because I'm here. It was like, he wanted mom to be there. He's kind of like used to mom being there. And he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I got the call that we weren't sure what's going on. Just wanted you to know I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here when you need me."
Such a little thing that's so huge.
To him, he's like, "Why is my dad here? Where's my brother supposed to pick me up?"
Yeah.
But it was so cool. It was just a really cool moment to be able to be, I can be present. I can be available. And our relationship has gotten better. So what it looks like today is I help him get signed up for things that I used to push on my ex-wife to just expect her to take care of. I'm like, what can I take? What responsibility can I take on to help with the children?
Yeah.
And so what that looks like is he wanted voice lessons. So I did the research on where to get him voice lessons, who's going to be the best coach for him. Now I take him on Wednesdays. I get to pick him up from his mom's house. And he's driving. He's 15. He needs hours of driving. Mom doesn't want to drive with him until he has 20 hours. She's kind of scared of it. So it's one-on-one time I get with my son. He's texting me going, "Hey, Dad, can you come over? Can we drive?"
You're like, "I'm already missing a leg." So what's the worst? You know what I'm saying? No.
Exactly. So now I get to be involved in their daily activities, and it is just amazing. This weekend I got to be with my daughter and take her to her friend's dance competition and walk around the mall with her and just be present in their lives and do what they want to do whenever I can, and get my son into college. He's done most of the work behind the scenes, but he earned himself a full ride into Alabama next year.
Right on.
Full presidential ride. And so yesterday we sat out at my kitchen table and just hashing out a few things. We've got On Tuesday night, we got a phone call for his summer program. He signed up for summer school so he can enter as a sophomore. So I'm going to be on his call with that group on Tuesday night, and so I get to be available.
Right on, man. Just showing up.
Yes. I don't have to buy him a bunch of stuff. I don't have to take him on big trips. Just be there day in and day out, just for the small things.
That's like the trips and all that material stuff. That's never the answer, really. The most important thing you can do as a father and mother is show up.
Just show up.
And man, you're doing it.
Yeah.
So hey, for what it's worth, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I got chills because I know I saw the pain in your eyes, talking about that when your kid called you out, that's a painful thing. And, but the joy I see in your eyes when you're talking about now is a really cool shift. And I'm grateful to be able to see that kind of transition from those feelings, right? You say, like, I'm proud of myself, and I know you're going to continue to do so.
So much so, listen to this. My son, my oldest 18-year-old, tried to break into my house this weekend to come see me. So he was supposed to come over on Saturday night, supposed to come spend the night at my house with the siblings. He fell asleep at mom's house, and about midnight, he wasn't coming by. A lot of times he'll be out with his friends or whatever, and he'll come home late at night, but he didn't show up, and I went to bed Saturday night going, man, I guess he didn't want to come see me. He just stayed at mom's. Well, you know what? I had a bunch of missed calls about 1:15 in the morning. He drove over to my house to try to get in. He said, Dad, he texted me, he said, Dad, sorry, I fell asleep watching a movie. I'm on my way over. And my house was locked. I just locked it out of habit. I didn't lock it out on purpose. But for 30 minutes in the cold at 1:30 in the morning, Sunday morning, he's out there trying to break into my house, trying to get in to see me.
Dude.
And he ended up just going back home. And so I texted him yesterday after he came to my house, and I was like, I just want to let you know I really appreciate you making the effort to come see me.
Man, thanks for sharing that.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy how things shift.
It's the gift of recovery, the gift of that God's given me through grace to be able to keep showing up my kids' lives sober today. So
I'm amped up hearing this because that's a true story of redemption, and you're really working towards that. And it's just, some days you may fall short, maybe not in like the addiction sense, like you can't do that, but some days we aren't going to be at our best, but you get up and you do better. And like, you can always move forward from that person. And because a lot of people don't believe in it. They let their past dictate too much of their future, but your past can be just that. It's their shadows, but you got to show those compassion and move forward with action. And you're doing that, man.
And I'd like to tell your listeners here that everybody loves a comeback story. If you need to hear this today, so I'm friends with the member of SEAL Team 6, lives here in town.
Okay.
He was there. Chris Pratt played him in the film Zero Dark 30.
Okay.
So he consulted with Chris Pratt on his role. He was there to gather all the data.
Oh, right on.
Bin Laden's compound.
Sweet.
He took Bin Laden's watch off of his dead wrist in the compound.
Yeah.
He threw his body down on Bin Laden as the helicopter took off out of the compound. And so I had him over to my apartment when I was at my lowest, and I said I kind of want to check out into this life, And he just looked at me. He goes, dude, everybody loves a comeback story.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I came back from my car accident, came back from my brother's death. And now I went through divorce and lost my house and wife and kids and put on 55 pounds. And I was just miserable. Never been so depressed. And he goes, everybody loves a comeback story.
Mm.
He said, why don't you start with doing one thing today? What's one thing you can do? And I was just blank because I was so deep, dark in my depression. I could barely function. And he said, can I give you a suggestion? I said, yeah. And he goes, how about you take a shower? Can you take a shower today, man? And I said, well, don't leave until I do it, because I'm going to tell you I will and I won't. I'm going to go back in there and I'm just going to be miserable.
Yeah.
So I had to go start back after everything I've been through and go start back with a shower. Can you start with a shower? And that started the comeback story I'm at today.
Something so simple.
So I don't know what it is that you're struggling with today. Everybody loves a comeback story. If it's you got to organize your closet, if you got to organize your sock drawer, sometimes you got to humble yourself to just do the small things and build from there.
Man, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And that goes, what you just told me goes in line with the question I was going to ask. What does real healing look like for you in everyday life?
Real healing. What does real healing look like, man? It's being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Being honest where I'm at. Telling people when I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about rebuilding? You talked about the external trust with kids, but rebuilding the self-trust.
One thing that's helped me is continuing to show up at the gym when I physically didn't want to or couldn't. When I have a wound vac on with crutches, that's a way I could show myself physically. If I could show up physically, then I can show up mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for myself as well.
You brought up something that I want to also go back to, because I brought it up at the beginning, your mother's loss. So the time of her loss, and with that, the anniversary coming up, were y'all pretty close at the time? You know, she left this earth, or, you know, what has your relationship been with your parents? Because you talked about it, you said you had a good childhood. So I wonder what the relationship's been like with your parents going through the journey, even through sobriety, and, you know.
Yeah. So my parents have been 100% supportive, loving, compassionate, if anything, maybe enabling, you know, on the level of enabling and not calling me out on my stuff as much as they could have. But they already had one son die of a drug overdose. How far do you push the next son?
They don't want to push you. Yeah.
Exactly. So, amazing support from both my parents. And I'll tell you what, so my mom died of liver disease within a year and a half of her symptoms really starting to get bad. She passed within a year and a half. Mm. In that last year of her life, I flew to Texas 14 times in a year to go help my dad, because my dad had quadruple bypass, and I thought I was going to lose both parents back to back. Yeah. So I may lose both parents back to back. My brother's already gone. It's just me.
Yeah.
So it was all hands on deck, and I flew to Texas 14 times in a year. Yeah. I got to see my mom go through the progression of her liver disease and go out. We help my dad, you know, interview what assisted livings we were going to get her in. I got to be involved in all of that process. And then when she passed, they said, oh man, yeah, I got to be there. I got to be there with her as she died, as she was passing. I wasn't there the day that she died, but they asked my dad if we wanted to come in and identify her body at the funeral home in person or by a photo. And I said, no, I'm flying in. I want to identify my mom in person.
Yeah.
And so I got to I was on crutches, flew to Texas, showed up at the funeral home. They brought her out, and I got to be there with my mom's body and tell her, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay, Mom. Hmm. So to be able to give her the gift of being sober through her passing was one of the greatest honors of my life. Mm. Everything that I put her through, and all of my family, my ex-wife, my kids, I mean, everybody, but I was able to stay focused and stay humble enough to make phone calls and ask for help all through that time period. I went to 12-step meetings when I was out of town watching her. You know, I was sharing with people what I was going through, and to be able to stand there at her funeral, at her graveside, and be sober is one of the greatest gifts I could have given her.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for sharing that as well. You're just in a totally different place in life, you know. Thank God you weren't in the place you were out of that.
I know.
You were able to show up, like we talked about, and be present there with her.
Yep.
So thank you for
that. Feel those feelings and go, this sucks.
I
don't want to do this, but I can do this one day. I can make one right decision at a time.
Yeah. Hey, things are going to suck along the way, man. Mm-hmm. This is what it is. I know there's going to be days I'm like, ugh, you know, but that's just part of life. Yeah. And I think that's part of the beauty of life too. The fact that things can suck. Mm-hmm. You know, we get to feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to embrace it all. I do got one final question for you. This is the big question. You ready for it?
I don't know.
John, what is your relentless pursuit?
Ooh, what's my relentless pursuit? I would say pursuing Christ's vision for my life. It's not about perfection. I'm all about making progress, just making little steps of progress. But continuing to seek God's will for my life and just trying to align myself with that.
I love
That's
it.
my relentless pursuit.
Thank you for that.
And it's tough because it takes faith, because you don't know what the outcome is. You know what I mean? It's not like, anyway, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
You get it.
Oh yeah.
It's all based on faith.
Thank you for sharing your story with me. I'm proud of you for what you've overcome and being able to be humble enough to share it all. You've talked about it before. I mean, you know, this isn't a first time for you, but this stuff isn't easy a lot of things you don't really want to admit, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And in that, other people are able to hear your truth and then share theirs and heal through things.
Exactly.
So thank you for just coming on here today and sharing your journey along with me, man.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for what you do.
Hey, I appreciate you, John. Hey, is there where can everybody find you? You know, give us all your links and stuff.
Yeah, so John Mabry, search John Mabry on like Instagram and John Mabry Connects. TikTok is John Mabry Speaker. So at johnmabryconnects.com. But yeah, anybody looking for a speaker, looking for, if anything, anybody listener had anything resonated with you and you're in charge of a group or a retreat or a corporation. I spoke at Whataburger's National Leadership Conference in September last year, and got to motivate a few leaders in the Whataburger Corporation, and that was an honor. So, yeah.
Really cool, man.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna shake your hand real quick. All right, guys. Till next time. Woo. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned in this show, and honestly in life, is that healing doesn't live in just one lane. Some people find it through addiction recovery, some through therapy, some through faith, some through hard conversations that they've avoided for years, and some for finally being honest about what they're carrying. I started this show to give people a voice, to share real journeys, real struggles, and real growth. And what it's shown me is how many people are walking through similar battles, even if it looks different on the surface. Through this platform, I've been connected with people across so many lanes: addiction recovery, mental health, veterans and first responders, faith, marriage and relationships, trauma, and everything in between. I want to say this clearly. If you're listening right now and you're struggling, please reach out. You don't need to know exactly what you need. You don't need the right words. You don't have to even know exactly where to start. But through my network, I'll do everything I can to get you connected with the right person in the right lane for where you are. That's what this show is about. Real stories, real connection, and reminding people that there is a way forward.